get that. Yeah, it was too late for me to be on hold with him, but I'll call him as soon as we get back.
Welcome to Guatemala, my friends. How are you today? Good. Excellent. So right now that we are going to be in the trolley tour, it is going to be a tour that will show you two villages. We are in one of them called Santo Tomas. The name of our driver is Julio, and I am Hugo.
Hey, we finally found a Julio. On the way.
So have you wondered why Guatemala carries the name Guatemala?
Sure.
Because that is our name. Obviously, Guatemala has a nickname, and it is the land of the never-ending spring. Because when we are in the tropics like here, there are only two seasons, dry and rainy seasons. When the Spanish came, they didn't come alone. They came with the help of more than 3,000 soldiers from Mexico that speak Nahuatl. And here comes the fact that history is always written by the winners of the wars. The last village that had to be conquered by the Spaniards with the help of the Mexicans was K.C.J.A.M.M.A. K.C.J.A.M.M.A is a Maya word that means the land of trees. The land of trees. So the word K.C.J.A.M.M.A was changed for the same meaning of the word in Nahuatl. So they gave this land the name of Guatemalan. Guatemalan. Through the decades, the Spanish Latinized the word Guatemalan into Guatemala. that still means the land of trees. Guatemala's official language is Spanish, but the Maya left us a great legacy of 21 different languages still spoken in the country.
Road work is not one of them.
That's why so many motorcycles.
Yes, it happens that in Guatemala we have more than 4.2 million vehicles, but 60% of all of them are motorcycles, mostly from India.
No Harley.
Guatemala is a constitutional, republican, democratic country. That means that we have the three powers of the state. And every time that we have general elections, we call it general elections because we have to choose the president, all the mayors, and everybody in the Congress. All in one day. Usually, we have to vote 5 times that day. President, mayor, Congress, Central American Congress, and independent deputies. They're all lousy no matter how whom you vote. So. All bad. The only ones that cannot go for a re-election are always the presidents. They can only go for one term of 4 years. That's it. Usually there is a second round. And that second round is only for the first and second places of the presidency. Our current president right now is Mr. Jimmy Morales. Jimmy Morales. And he was already very famous in the country because before he was a politician, he was an actor. Like Ronald Reagan, yes. Our president was not as good as Ronald Reagan, but he was not bad. For me, my second best cowboy ever is Ronald Reagan. First one, John Wayne.
No surprise.
Definitely. Guatemala's currency is Quetzal. Quetzal. The exchange rate is about 7.5 quetzals per American dollar. 7.5 per American dollar. Don't throw the beard. That is considered a blasphemy here. In US dollars, we buy gas only by the American gallon. We don't use liters here for gasoline. It is about $3.20, $3.40 dollars per American gallon. Exactly, per American gallon. The difference is that Guatemala's minimum wage right now is only $400 per month.
How much?
So what people do is that if they have a suitable backyard, they raise their own chickens there to get protein, eggs and meat.
$400 a month. I need a few employees. $400.
Guatemala's capital is Guatemala City, 190 miles from here to the south. Guatemala is a country with about 18 million people, 18 million. Guatemala City is the most populated but also the most developed capital city in Central America, with about 4 million people.
Wow.
4 million. The second largest city, inhabited by 1.5 million Guatemalans, is Los Angeles, California.
Look, they're washing that red car.
It happens that there are about 3 million Guatemalans living in the United States.
Luckily, there's a McDonald's, the second largest city.
Where's the McDonald's? I'm hungry.
That's the billboard.
The major religion in Guatemala is still the Roman Catholic. About 40% of the population are still Roman Catholic. Then we have a 40% of Protestants that we can count evangelics, Jehovah's Witnesses, and Mormons. %65 of everything that Guatemala produces are agricultural products. 85% of everything that Guatemala makes and exports go directly to the United States. It happens that Guatemala is the major provider of cantaloupe and green beans to the US and Canada. Good. Politically talking, Guatemala is divided in 22 different departments that you might consider as districts. But everything is centralized in Guatemala City. Right now you are in the district of Izabal. Yes, there are recycling plants here, so they not only recycle aluminum from the cans, but also plastic. Most of the economy from this area depends on the exports and imports from the two ports that we have on the same harbor, Santo Tomas and Puerto Barrios. You will notice that everybody is getting ready for the biggest celebration that we have in the year, Christmas, because we have three main celebrations. Christmas will always be the first. The second one, depending on the full moon, is the Easter. And the third, and we will see a beautiful example of it, because we will go next to a cemetery, November the 1st, All Saints Day. On your left, you can see the first shopping mall center in the area. That also has the only Golden Arches restaurant in 100 miles. McDonald's.
What'd you do in Guatemala? Well, we went to Taco Bell and had a milkshake with McDonald's.
During Christmas, we mostly eat tamales. Plenty. In the whole country, usually between the week, we eat tamales on Saturdays. But the ones made for Christmas are bigger and have more fruits, like plums. They're really good and bigger. With one of those, you may have enough for the whole night. They usually meat. For Christmas, they come with fruit. But that is only for Christmas. Usually, we eat a standard tamal during the Saturdays. During Thursday, like today, we eat tamales from potato. But for the Saturdays, tamales from corn or rice. The way we buy them, and we know where to buy them, is that the ones that are selling the tamales have a red light at the front of the house. Because we know that they are selling something that was boiled and hot. But if it is 9 in the night, a dark street with a red light, they are selling something hot but not tamales. During All Saints' Day on November the 1st, we eat cold meat mixed with a lot of vegetables. We call it fiambre. Usually, the families of the people that have their dead relatives buried in the mausoleums come and they scratch the old paint and paint them anew. Very colorful. It looks beautiful, to be honest. We will see it in a minute. Yes, we are making a stop, but we cannot get out. But you have a good spot for pictures. So that is why you will see the mausoleums beautifully painted. In Guatemala, we don't celebrate the Day of the Dead on November the 2nd as they usually do it in Mexico. Big time. But we celebrate November the 1st. Generally, everybody was buried above the ground, but it was not because they have a shallow water table. It became a symbol of status. You're buried under the ground represents poverty. Here it is, the Puerto Barrio Cemetery.
So, down here in Guatemala on All Saints Day, November 1st, is on a Catholic holiday, they come out and they scrape the paint off the mausoleum, and then they repaint it this colorful thing. It's pretty cool.
And Guatemala,
All different colors.
you can see that they were all recently repainted. Usually, the young relatives of the family come here on November the 1st and they bring a small kite because in November it is really windy here. They used to have a big celebration on September the 21st. The autumn equinox. The Maya believed that the doors of the underworld got open and the spirits of their dead relatives will visit them in their homes. That is from India. happens that here there is a lot of Hindu families, and the ones who have success, they cross their mausoleums here. On November the 1st, so they start to fly kites. Because the legend says that once the kite is in the heavens or the sky, it says not into the heavens. So the doors get open and the souls of the dead come down to earth, using the thread as a pathway to go down. Then with big respect, they rewind the thread and take the kite to their homes, where they have prepared an altar with the pictures of those who have died and the saints that they prepared. At noon, everybody goes to the graveyard, and over there they have a picnic, and they start to eat the whole meat with the vegetables. And they do that to remember their dead relatives. Another big celebration that we have in this area is the Yankuru, because the district of Izabal is the one with the major population of Garifuna people. The Garifuna people are those who have African phenotype, and they have a big, beautiful celebration here where they take the biggest and bulkiest guy and they dress him like a woman. And for him, it is a great honor to be dressed like a woman, because they do that to commemorate a victory that they had against the British Empire. Let me tell you this story. At St. Vincent, usually the men, against their will, were working in the sugar fields and the plantations. And the British soldiers went to the villages to rape the women. So they didn't like that. They started to use their wits. One day, they knew that it was payday. The soldiers will come. They sent all the women to the sugar fields, and all the men stayed at the village dressed like women as a strategy. When the 86 British soldiers came to rape all the women, they found a bad surprise. Not even one survivor. All of them died in very ugly ways, and they surely had it coming. But there was a retaliation from the British Empire. So they had to run away, and they shipwrecked in Roatan, Honduras. Then they knew that in Guatemala there was a congressman from Louisiana who in the 1823 helped to make the Guatemala Constitution that avoided slavery. So they decided to come to Guatemala, and they never had slavery. Curiously, Louisiana was the most reluctant to avoid slavery. But that congressman came from here and he made good things. For that reason, is that here we have big men dressed like a woman, and that is a great honor. This is how mostly Guatemalans live around here. Have a social security system that is always overcrowded, so the government needs to have more hospitals. But in the social security system, you are allowed to be in it only if you have a job. because it is semi-private. During Christmas in Guatemala, at the bottom of the Christmas tree, we make something that we call nacimiento. Nacimiento is a representation of the nativity. The Christmas tree in Guatemala didn't come from the United Fruit Company in the beginning of the 20th century. It came after the 1871, when more than 3,500 settlers from Germany came to Guatemala to produce coffee. So the Christmas tree from here is German.
It's got a rooster on top.
It matches the license plate.
That's in place of the license plate.
No, it matches their license plate. I guess in case the license plate gets stolen, it might be a rental car too. I seen it and I said, and all of a sudden I started matching and they all match the license plate. Hey, Johnny, you got some pizza?
Library. That little blue building's a library.
Check out the kids. Eat watermelon on the bike. Anybody else? And they get upset when I text them on.
We were in Cozumel one time. We saw an entire family on a moped.
We just see them. We passed the moped and had 4 people.
This must have been 6 or 7. Got hanging from dad's neck, mama's back, mama's chest, legs standing on the spikes.
That in Guatemala there are about 4.2 million vehicles. 60% of all of them are motorcycles and mostly come from India. They don't look, it is mandatory to wear a helmet, but they don't like to. But the other part is that if you go to any hospital, private or public, and you go to the section of traumatology, 80% of all of them are bikers. From all the countries that the United Fruit Company operated, it is here in Guatemala where it has been criticized the most. It happens that in the moment that the United Fruit Company came right here, they started to have a lot of problems with the coffee growers. Guatemalans and Germans. The reason, when somebody was working in a coffee plantation, as a home they were usually given a flat roof, bamboo walls, dust floors, no medical attention. They had to work 7 days per week, and they were paid an average of $25 per month. And the currency that they were paid was a paper money printed by the owner of the farm. exchangeable only in the store owned by his wife. So that was his slavery conditions. The same worker working here for the United Fruit, as a home they were given a tin ceiling, concrete walls, concrete floors, and the whole house was usually between 6 to 7 feet above the ground level to avoid humidity. And also people will have a hammock where to rest during the one day of holiday that the company gave them. Minor Keith, the major stockholder and founder of the United Fruit Company, made it mandatory that anyone with children at the age of elementary working for his company had to study in the schools sponsored by the United Fruit. And it was an education that was fully bilingual. Also, they had free services in the best hospital in Central America, owned by the United Fruit. And if they worked hard enough, they will make about $115 per month with real money. So guess where everybody prefer to go working? To the United Fruit Company. During the celebration of the Easter, the ones that are still Roman Catholic, they like to make sawdust carpets, beautifully elaborated from sawdust, completely colored, so the procession will go on the top and destroy it. But that is part of the deal.
Everybody has cell phones? Does everybody have cell phones?
Yeah.
Cell phones. Cell phones.
Oh yes, we have. We are 18 million people, and there are more than 20 million cell phones operating. It's relatively cheap to get a smartphone that is usually smarter than the one using it. You still haven't been able to get an iPhone 10. Too expensive. Too much. I prefer these ones. And they take good pictures. For me, a phone is to call, take pictures, text messages, and that's it. To make my life easier. And it's good.
Yeah, this makes my life complicated.
It happens that the president that introduced the cell phones in Guatemala, his name was Alvaro Arzu. He is also called the president of the peace, for he is the one that signed the peace accords in the 1996. He was supporting another candidate from his same party that lost the election. The problem is that he sold all the companies owned by the government, especially the telephone company, to private owners. And all the telephone calls became very expensive. But competition came. What happened is that back then we were 11 million people in 96. But there were only 250,000 telephone lines for 11 million. Too much. Too little for too much people. After he sold the companies, there came companies from Spain, Sweden, and placed telephone companies here, to the point that right now it's even cheaper to call one of your relatives from my phone to the United States than calling my bosses at the port. So competition is excellent for commerce. Spain is famous is because many of the revolutions, like the one from Cuba, started. Especially because Fidel Castro had a bad issue against Guatemala and Nicaragua. Why? Bay of Pigs. Let me tell you the story about how Bay of Pigs started. It happened that in the 1952 we had a democratically elected president. He was a retired general who made something that we call the land reform. The land reform consisted into expropriating from the rich to give to the poor people. The United Fruit Company didn't like that because they lost almost 100% of everything they had. So they made a big complaint in the United States, and President Eisenhower had to send his brother Milton and the director of the CIA, Alan Dulles, to Guatemala to see what was really going on. And they came specifically to this village. When they went back, they wrote a report that the United States should interfere into the Guatemala political affairs because this country is about to be a beachhead for communism, with a president taking from the rich to give to the poor. And that was just the start. The CIA sponsored an army of only 250 men, and they overthrew the president. He had to resign. The CIA placed a puppet, but during those years, 1954, Che.A.M.M.A was living here. And so he had to run away to Mexico, where he met Fidel Castro. He helped in the revolution, and he said, "Those bad Yankees stop the progress for the people in Guatemala, because capitalism is the worst that can happen. Now that we won the revolution in Cuba, we have to expropriate the private land to everybody. But we don't need to give that to the poor people because that was a mistake made by the Guatemala president. The government has to keep it. So everything that Che learned here, he put that in practice at Cuba, but improved, according to him. The reason for which Fidel Castro had a retaliation against Guatemala and Nicaragua was Bay of Pigs. Because the troopers that were trained to fight Castro back, that entered through Bay of Pigs, were trained in Guatemala. So half of the men also went to Nicaragua to continue the training. One day they left, went to Bay of Pigs, and they were defeated because they didn't have the help they needed. As a retaliation, Fidel Castro sponsored the guerrillas in Guatemala and Nicaragua. In Nicaragua, they won. In Guatemala, had not it been because of the brutal response of the army, they were about to win too. So at the end, every cloud has a silver lining. McDonald's has a very bad fame about people's health when we eat it. But at least in Guatemala they have started that they are also having cold tea and also beverages from fruits like strawberry or blackberries, milkshakes that are more natural. In regards of McDonald's, have you seen the Happy Box from McDonald's for the kids? The Happy Meal. The Happy Meal is an invention made by a woman called Maria Cofiño from Guatemala. She was having one of the franchises of the restaurants here, and she realized that there was not a dish specific for the children. So she came with the idea of the Happy Meal in the United States, and they said, well, give it a try there in Guatemala, let's see if it works. But we are going to add a toy. That toy was the catch. So the Happy Meal is a Guatemalan invention. A woman did that because she wanted to have her grandkids busy eating. Oh, the one is a toy. Then that happened with my son. My son right now is 24. But when he was a kiddo, everything he wanted was the toy. And I ate the food. Now you know the origin. Well, my son is living in South Dakota. He won a scholarship 5 years ago and went to study to a university called Augustana, South Dakota. He graduated last year. Here you can see a good example about Guatemalan woods. The red wood is mahogany, the white wood is primavera tree, and the brown one is purple trumpet. What is the importance about woods here? This wood is not responsible for losing Belize. Because in the beginning, the British Empire made a deal to Guatemala that they will rent the land known as Belize right now, because they wanted to get this wood and take it to England. In exchange of that, they would make a road from Mexico, from Belize to here, and the road was never made. So the one who gave the name British Honduras to Belize was the Admiral Wallace from the British Navy. Because of the lack of good pronunciation, the Guatemalans started to call the land of Wallace after the land of Wallis. Then the land of Wallis, and at the end it became Belize. Wallace, Wallis, Wallis, Belize. Right now, one of the major consumers of the best export quality mahogany from Guatemala is the Gibson guitars. There are some models from Gibson that the arm of the guitar is made out of this redwood, mahogany. The dark wood, we call it purple trumpet, because the tree produces a flower that is purple in the shape of a small trumpet. nuclear physics.
Yeah, he ain't coming back here.
I told him to never come back. Besides, he has to work for the same university because he has to pay part of the scholarship by working for the same university. So at first he had to graduate as a physicist mathematician, and next year he is going for nuclear physics for another 3 years.
Have you seen him? Does he come?
He doesn't touch me too much because I divorced his mom, but he is a good boy.
How does he like the winter?
When I told him, my customers tell me that the winter there is bad. Well, it doesn't really pay straight until how really cold it gets here. But you know what, Dad? The snowboarding is fun.
Good.
He's good for that.
Good.
So it happens I only have so many worry dolls on the bags that I gave to most of the ladies because they are the origins of the beautiful legend that we have here. The legend of the worry dolls tell us it started with the Maya royalty. When a king died, they were buried with a lot of jade. Because the most of the jade you take to the afterlife, the better. The Maya disappeared, and so the royalty left. They didn't work jade too much. So when they died, they were buried with a lot of dolls around the skull of the corpse called eccentrics. The eccentrics were forbidden to be made by the Inquisition when the Dominicans came. So basically, they started to make the dolls to protect now the living, not the dead. And from there is that we have the legend of the worry dolls. They usually tell us that once, can I borrow yours please? When you have a worry, you pull one of them from it and you tell them your worries. Then you put it back in the bag, close it, and put it under your pillow when you go to bed. The story says that the next day you will probably find a solution to the problem the next day.
Bumpity bump.
And it works 100%. You know what? Because the next day, even if the problem is bigger, now you awoke with someone to blame. So you will remember your tour guide in Guatemala for 1 hour.
When we go back a little bit, I think I left the kidney.
The number one food in Guatemala, we put everything with corn tortillas. That will be the corn tortillas. So, corn for the Guatemalan culture is so important that for the Maya it was sacred. And it had the category of a tree, a sacred tree, despite it is only a plant. In the upper world of the Maya cosmology, there are 13 main constellations passing through the ecliptic. Like we have 12 in the zodiac. The Maya had 13.
I go up on the
And one
sidewalk
of them
too.
was the constellation of the turtle, Orion's belt. For the Maya, it was the turtle. And from there, the corn god comes out every April when the rain starts. Look at those trees over there. The two ones, they are mahogany. Kind of junk. No, the purple trumpet looks like it is not so big. It has a lot of branches, so the trunk doesn't produce that much of wood. So around here it is a kind of exotic. But the grain it has is second to nothing. Around here we also have a wood called rosewood. Rosewood. Curiously, since you are a carpenter, you will know what I mean. When the rosewood tree is growing on a place that has a lot of humidity, it grows really dark. When it doesn't have too much water, it grows light. Doesn't have too much color, but it is still beautiful. Exactly, but the dark is more common. Here. We also have cocobolo. That is a rosewood that is red. Very red, reddish. They make a lot of, how do you call this sport? All sticks. They make a lot of them, then they put certain parts of cocobolo to make them look more exotic. The tree that you see there with the buttresses, that is our national tree, a ceiba. Ceiba. It is the K-pop tree.
They must be taxed.
It produces a kind of cotton that the royalty for the Maya used to make their clothing from it. Now they make cushions.
When you see the number on the back of the dog,
Yeah, makes sense.
it matches the license.
There is a reason for which Guatemala still carries the name. What was the name of the Guatemala and the meaning is?
Land of trees.
93.
Land of trees, right.
He said it, I just
And what is the second largest city inhabited by 1.5 million Guatemalans?
Los Angeles.
LA. So you learn something.
Trump's going to stop that.
So tomorrow you are going to Costa Maya, right? Beautiful beaches there. So now you can say that you were on the place where revolutions started. And a happy meal.
My grandkids will be more concerned about the Happy Meal. Oh well.
So please, if you have the opportunity, come to this market. I can assure you, more than 90% of everything that you get there is made in Guatemala, not in China. All of it handmade. And I also invite you to listen to the Guatemalan music played with marimba, the large wooden instrument that they are playing there. Extremely versatile instrument. Made out of hardwoods. The body is made out of mahogany, but the keyboard is, you can make it from rosewood or ironwood. Ironwood is also natural here.